Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Sunday, October 23, 2022, and giving you our match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Dallas Cowboys vs Detroit Lions. Detroit got off to a somewhat promising start this season, but it looked atrocious against New England in its last game. The Lions are now riding a 6-game road losing streak and are facing a Dallas team that could get a huge boost with the return of its quarterback. The Cowboys have been able to piece things together without Prescott on the field, so they could turn into a legitimate Super Bowl contender with their star back in the mix. They have covered the spread at a red-hot 14-4 clip in their last 18 games against NFC opponents, and they are 4-1 in their last 5 games against Detroit. Our team pick is Dallas minus 6.5 points. With the worst defense in the NFL, it's no wonder that Lions games go over the majority of the time. 4 of their 5 have hit over thus far, the only one not to being their last game in which they were shut out. The Cowboys should be able to put up some big points in Dak's return. Same for Detroit with their returns noted above. Weather won't be a factor on either offense, so expect the scoreboard to see plenty of action. This game will go over 49 points. Jacksonville Jaguars vs New York Giants. The Giants are winning games but have only played one road game all season. They are dealing with several key injuries to the receiving core. The Jaguars have lost 3 straight, but 2 were on the road against the Eagles and Colts. Furthermore, the Giants will likely continue to run heavily considering the injuries to receivers Sterling Shepard and Kenny Golladay. The Jaguars' rush defense is solid, allowing an average of only 89 rushing yards per game, good for 5th in the NFL. Also, the Jaguars' rushing offense has been stellar and will play a huge factor. The Giants are being exploited on the ground. They allowed over 200 rushing yards to the Ravens last week and have plummeted to 28th in the NFL in rush defense. Our team pick is Jacksonville Jaguars minus 3 points. The Jaguars' 11th ranked defense has been solid this year, and they should be able to move the ball on a Giants team that struggles to put pressure on the quarterback. New York has been decent on defense, but the Giants have also struggled against the run in multiple games. The Cowboys averaged 5.9 yards per rush against the Giants, and Green Bay averaged 4.6 yards per carry. Baltimore averaged 8.8 yards per carry against the Giants last week. Leonard Williams returned in the middle of New York's defensive line, but the Giants still struggled against the Baltimore rushing attack most of the game. Trevor Lawrence has had success against mediocre and bad defenses. He should be able to move the ball against an inconsistent Giants defense. Even though the Jags have a lot of talent on defense, this unit has also been inconsistent at times, giving up 34 points last week to a Colts offense that has struggled for much of the season. This should be a higher scoring game. Take the over, 42.5 points. Tennessee Titans vs Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts are seeking a 3rd straight win. It was a bit of a sluggish start to the season. They played to a 20-20 decision against Houston in the opener and were shut out by the Jaguars in Week 2. They have since defeated the Broncos in OT and were 1-point favorites in a 34-27 home win against the Jaguars last week. Indy has covered the spread in 3 out of their last 4 games. Matt Ryan had his best game of the season last week, accumulating 389 passing yards. The 37-year-old QB now has eclipsed 300 yards 3 times this season and has 1765 passing yards, accompanied by an 8.7 TD to int ratio. Jonathan Taylor did not play last week due to an ankle injury and will play this week. The 23-year-old is a big threat and has amassed 328 yards in 4 games. Dean Jackson and Philip Lindsay will likely also take some carries. The Tennessee Titans enter this one fresh after enjoying their bye week. The Titans were dealt losses in the opening 2 games of the season against the Giants and Bills and have rebounded in a big way by winning 3 in a row. They beat this Colts team by a 24-17 score, followed by a 21-17 road win against the Commanders to cover the small 1-point spread before the bye. The Titans have covered the points in 3 consecutive games. Ryan Tannehill has been efficient. The 34-year-old QB won't put up big numbers on a squad that likes to run, but features a strong 65.1% completion efficiency. Tannehill only had 137 passing yards against the Colts earlier this month and has collected 965 passing yards, along with a 6.3 TD-to-int ratio on the season. Derrick Henry has reached 100 rushing yards in 2 straight games. The 28-year-old RB exploited the Colts' rush defense in the first meeting with 114 yards. He has 408 rushing yards on the season. The Colts are playing much better after a poor start. They have won 3 out of their last 4 games, including a road win in Denver in that span. I especially like this matchup considering the recent performance of Matt Ryan and getting Taylor back. The veteran QB had 356 passing yards against this Titans defense earlier this month and just collected a remarkable 389 yards against the Jaguars last week. The Titans' pass defense is being exploited, ranking last in the NFL. Furthermore, the Titans' defense hasn't stood out. They only managed 243 total yards against this Colts defense earlier this month. It won't be easy for Derrick Henry on the ground considering the Colts have a stellar defense. Also, the Titans' defense is squandering an average of 390 total yards per game. The Indy offense outgained the Titans by over 100 yards in the first meeting, and I expect them to win this one. Our team pick is Indianapolis Colts plus 2.5 points. Indianapolis has played well defensively, giving up 20.2 points per game. They gave up 24 points in their first game against the Titans and will need to do a better job if they want to get the win. Tennessee has played well defensively, giving up 23.6 points per game. They gave up 17 points in their first game against the Colts and will need a similar effort if they want to win this game. They have been hit with a rash of injuries in recent weeks, with Bud Dupree, Zach Cunningham, Alassane Adeniyi, Nate Davis, Ugo Amadi, and Joseph Jones listed as questionable for this game. The Colts are averaging 17.2 points per game and 10.6 points per game on the road. They averaged 21.3 points per game in their last 3 games against the Titans. They have the 5th best passing game in the league, and they're facing a defense that is dead last in the league at stopping the pass and is giving up 23.6 points per game, so expect them to go over their average in this game. The Titans are averaging 19.2 points per game and 22 points per game at home. They averaged 27.6 points per game in their last 3 games against the Colts. With the Colts giving up 20.2 points per game, the Titans will score enough points to push the score over the total. The Colts and Titans played over the total in 4 of their last 6 meetings. Take the over, 42.5 points.